All right, you know what type of time we're on. Just went for another run today. It's definitely a little bit shorter than the one yesterday, or I guess for you it would be like 2 videos ago that I posted. Ran for about 1.6 miles today. You know, I'll post it up on the screen, so you know I'm not capping. It's a lot nicer today. Still kind of windy, so I hope you guys can hear me. But aside from that, if you're new here, subscribe, like the video, rep the boy, come on. That shit's free. And you know, I've been providing content out here, some good value. I hope it's been valuable to you at least for the past almost month and a half now. So come on, hit the sub, hit the like button. You know what it is. Today I'm going to talk about why most young men like you and me are lost for our purpose nowadays, right? So I like to post these videos not necessarily to complain about life. You know, we do our fair share of complaining out here because the world's tough, life's tough, but that's what it is. We're all looking for the answers. But I think it's really important always to understand the why behind things rather than just like me telling you, oh, here's 5 easy ways to find your purpose right now, if you don't really know what the cause of your problem is. You know, that's why I put out that video a while back, and at this point it was called like how to actually solve problems in life, right? And like barely any people watch that video. It only has like 10 views or something, but a lot of likes compared to the like views to like ratio. But in that video I talked about you solve problems by attacking the root causes, right? You don't try to address problems based on their symptoms, because then the root problem's still there. It'll just spout out another like problem, like this tree right here. This tree, if you don't kill it by the roots, if you just break off a little leaf or something like that, you just take one leaf, nothing's gonna happen, and that tree is gonna still grow back another leaf, you know, which is illustrative of more problems. So the best way to do it, you gotta uproot the tree and dig down to the root causes of your problems. And so I'm gonna tell you why most young men are lost for their purpose. So let me tell you about the paradox of choice, if you don't know what that is already. So I believe that this is one of the main reasons. Like, a lot of people talk about how most men are lost for their cause or their purpose because of the fact that, like, whatever, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, we would just take over our father's farm, or, you know, join the war efforts, conquer new lands. That's what we would do when we were like teenagers. That's what we would prepare for to fight for whatever, for Sparta or whatever you want to, so be it. But now we don't have wars and stuff. Like, thank God we're not trying to conquer land and stuff like that, which that'd be kind of scary. I mean, some of that shit's kind of happening in Ukraine and with Russia. But aside from that, you know, that's not our main focus in today's society. So instead, we're sitting here, instead of taking over our dad's farm or our dad's welding shop or our dad's blacksmithery. Instead, we're faced with these options like, oh, what do you want to be? Do you want to be a doctor? You want to be a lawyer? You want to be a teacher? You want to be an engineer? So that's like the first paradox of choice, is if you're taking the schooling route. And then the second paradox of choice is, oh, do you want to be a freelancer? Do you want to, you know, make content online, work for yourself? Do you want to own real estate? So you got all these random options to choose from, and people don't know what they want to choose, right? So going back to the paradox of choice, right? The paradox of choice, it was like a study they did, and they let groups of people, so one group of people had like 100 different options to choose from at a store, right? So they had 100 different options, and they were sitting there, didn't know what to choose. It was very hard for them to make the choice of what item they wanted to buy, right? And then another subset of people, they were given the choice of like maybe 3. They were given the choice of like 3 items to buy. And so the people who had the less amount of options, fewer amount of options, were quicker to come to their decision of what to buy, right? And then while the other group of people who had a bunch of choices, they didn't know which one to choose, so it took them longer, for one. And then we do a lot of regret, right? Regret is like past tense decision making. So we already made the decision and we are unhappy with our decision, so we wish we could go back and change it. And so not only did the people that had less options, they were quicker to make their decision, but also the people with less options were more happy and more satisfied with their final decision. So they had less regret after making their purchase. Whereas the people who had more options, like, you think that'd be great, and obviously we do strive to have access to more options, and that's one of the main reasons why we are on the self-improvement journey. But sometimes it can be detrimental, right? So the people who had more options took more time to choose whatever item they wanted to purchase, and then they also had more regret in the item that they chose, because they were like, oh, after actually testing it out and feeling how the product works, they're like, oh, I wish I could have got this other one that I saw, but they didn't. So there's that. And if we liken this to like the job market of today's society, right? If we liken it to today's job market, that's why so many people like go through careers so quickly. They like test out different things. And even in school, if you're in college, I'm sure you know a bunch of people that, or maybe even you yourself are someone who has tried different majors. They went into college undecided, they didn't know what they wanted to do, and then they try out, oh, let's go to psychology, and then they take a couple psychology classes and they're like, I don't want to do this shit, this isn't fun. And then they go to a different field, like, I don't know, maybe they go into economics or something completely different, because they like watched some YouTube videos about financial freedom or something, and then they went into economics, and then they're like, oh, this isn't too fun, I'm gonna go over to the business school, let's do like finance or something. So then they just keep hopping around doing these different things, and then they're not satisfied with the choices that they've previously made. So sure, while they might eventually, by going through all the different options, eventually get to what they like, it takes so much longer, just like the paradox of choice that I mentioned earlier. So that is why, while you can get to your end goal, it takes much longer, and you often have much more regret. You're ultimately less satisfied with your result, because of the fact that, oh, I finally found happiness in finance, right, after trying economics and after trying psychology. But then I see this YouTuber guy or this TikTok influencer who's 20 years old, didn't go to college, and they're making millions of dollars, and then I have regret, and I'm like, I should have done that when I was younger, you know? So that's basically what I have for today. That is the reason why so many men are lost for their purpose. The paradox of choice, I think, is an underrated and overlooked reason for all this unhappiness and confusion in our world. So I'll try to come up with an answer to this problem, because, you know, I don't like just posing problems that we have in this world. Anybody could think of a million problems that are wrong with this world. So I'm trying to give some practical solutions, but, you know, I still want to address the why behind my reasoning. So it's not just like I'm coming out of nowhere with, oh, this is how you find your purpose, and then you don't know how I'm trying to solve that problem. So I'm going to try to solve that problem by looking at the paradox of choice, how to combat that, basically, and then we'll go from there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.